leads us in triumph. See, God didn't make us to be losers. God didn't make us to have to settle. God made us to keep pushing ourselves to the point where we become the best that we can be. See, God will never lead us to lose. He leads us into triumph. Always. God has never made a failure. Did you know that?
That's right.
All failure is man-made. God has never yet failed. He doesn't know what it feels like to fail. There was a time where Satan thought he had made God fail, and he found out that, oh, God just changed the plan. So God has never made a failure. Every failure is man-made. So we should have that winning attitude, saying that in all of these things I can overcome. In all of these things I can do better. I can be the best. The Olympic runner does not hit the starting block saying, oh, I sure hope I get 5th place. Oh, if I can just get 5th, I'll be so happy. Oh, I just hope I get 5th. The Olympic starter starts off at the starting block saying, I am going to give it everything I have. I am going to do everything I can. I will do whatever these legs can do and then some, because I'm getting first.
That's right.
I will win. And that should be the attitude that we have in our lives, and I believe especially as Christians. In our Christian walk, we should not be happy with just barely scraping by. In our Christian walk, we should be saying, there is more that I can do. Just morning, during prayer, and I just sensed the Lord just giving a word, but saying, as we prepare the place for Him, He'll inhabit it.
That's right.
Oh, we can go further. We can prepare that place. We can make that place. We can release the praise. We can release the name of Jesus. We can prepare our hearts so that He can inhabit this place. But often God is waiting for us to do it. And we're waiting for God to do it. But we know that not everybody wins a gold medal. We know that not everybody even places in the Olympics. But in the race that we are in, we're not competing with anybody else. See, God puts every one of us on our own track, and this means that every one of us can win as long as we all run the race that has been marked out for us.
That's right.
But we need to be pushing ourselves then to win. We need to be pushing ourselves then to do it. Now, sometimes we may get off of our track and try to run somebody else's course, and we can't figure out, if we're running somebody else's course, why we're never getting to where we're supposed to be. Pastor Jerry was sharing that she was speaking at Women's Breakfast on Saturday last time. She had made a comment. She said, you can find yourself climbing the mountain. You get to the top of the mountain, and you find out it wasn't your mountain. Now you get to start over again. Don't you hate it when that happens? You worked so hard, you pushed so hard, you did everything you could do, and you found out you were on the wrong mountain once you got there. There's no reward for climbing the wrong mountain.
That's right.
There's no reward for running somebody else's race. I might look at Dave and I can say, oh, Dave was really struggling here, so I'll just go ahead and I'll do this and I'll take over and I'll do everything that Dave was supposed to be doing. And at the end of the day, that's what happens. I don't get any reward for that. It wasn't my course. Now, I can encourage Dave. I can try to help Dave. That's part of my course. I can try to show Dave how to do it or help explain and get him going on the but I still have to run my race. And when I run my race the way that I am on the track that God set me on and not somebody else's. Now, we cannot win unless we stick with our course. If God called me to be a pastor, then I can say, well, I don't want to be a pastor. There's so many, nobody likes the pastor. The pastor is always a love-hate relationship. People either love you or they hate you, and that can change from day to day. Nobody is ever indifferent to the pastor. Oh, well, he's a pastor. No. It doesn't matter which church you go to. It doesn't matter which church you come from. People will always either love or hate. You never hear someone say, oh, well, we have a pastor. Yeah, I guess he's all right. I don't know. I'm off track. I'll get back to So I can be the pastor. God can call me to be the pastor. And I say, okay, I'm going to be the pastor. I can be the pastor for a while. Then I can say, I don't want to be the pastor. I want everybody to like me. I want everybody to be happy and smile when they see. I'm going to be the greeter. See, the greeter, everybody smiles when they see the greeter. Who can fight with the greeter? The greeter gives you stuff, a bulletin. They smile at you when you walk in. They say, hi, good to see you. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to tell you you need to change. That's not the greeter's job. So I can say, well, I don't want to be pastor, but I just want to be the greeter. I just want to smile and make everybody feel good. But what happens when God says to me, well, how did you pastor? I'm like a greeter. I made everybody feel good. What happens when God says, yeah, but I called you to be a pastor. Why did you? Not the other side of that is, if he called me to be the greeter, why do I want to be a pastor for? I want to stay on the course that God put me. And I want to do the best that I can do because that's the only way that I can even think about winning. Well, there's three things that are going to be needed. The first one is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 25, the very next verse. And it says, every man that strives for the master is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I like some of the other versions because see, every man that is striving is temperate in the King James. In some other versions it'll say, well, we'll have strict training. We'll have self-control. Another verse says, we'll work hard. That means discipline. So one of the first things we're going to need if we're going to win the race is self-discipline. To make our plans work, we're going to have to be willing to discipline our lives. Amen? If you think it's always going to be easy, you're deceived. What we need to do is make long-range plans with short-term increments. Now, God called us to start a church here. I did not plan the very first day and say, oh, wow, let's build the church of 2,500 people right here in Plum Coulee the first day. If I would have, guess what would have happened? Nobody would have come. Oh, that guy's not like the baker probably would have come. Yeah, I don't know that. But you start off, you set the plan, but you make it in smaller increments or something that you can attain. And again, these are principles we're going to use in the practical, but you can use them in the spiritual life also. If you would be this morning, let's say you're sitting here, let's say I'm standing here, and I say, you know, I should probably lose 30 pounds. What am I going to do? By next week, this time, I'm going to be 30 pounds lighter. Not as exactly. Not unless you're going for liposuction and plastic surgery and all such other stuff. It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to be next week. 30 pounds becomes the long-term goal. But if I say this next week I want to lose 3 pounds, that's the attainable goal. By the week after that, I want to lose another 2 pounds. So now I have 5 down, I'll have 25 pounds left. So the week after that, I'm going to lose another 3 pounds. And I keep setting little goals that I can reach. But every time there's a step, there's a progression. And at the end of that time, I can walk away saying, okay, I have managed to reach my goal. The first month, I have lost 10 pounds. The next month, maybe I'm going to lose another 8 pounds, maybe 7 pounds in the third month, and then finally in the fourth month, I will have lost the last 4 pounds, and now I'm going to be 30 pounds lighter. So over 4 months, how people say, okay, well, that's something that could happen. So I set a long-term goal, but I break it down into shorter parts so that I can reach it. This way I can be encouraged by my progress every month and still reach the final goal. You don't ever set out saying, well, we're going to save money. We're going to save $1,000 this month. Not unless you're making an awful lot more money than I am. You don't do it that way. You don't ever start out saying that's how it's going to work. You start out saying, I want to save $1,000, so maybe this month I'm going to save $100. And you break it into smaller increments. Now, the goal is still being reached, it's just taking a period of time, but it's becoming attainable, it's becoming something that I can do.